What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and today you're talking sports with MG Nas. And today we got a special guest on the channel. But before we introduce the guest, make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoyed today's topic. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. And make sure you guys comment down below who you think the better player is and who do you think won this debate. Now, let's introduce our guest. Now, he is making his 4th appearance on the channel. He's been our most consistent guest on the channel, Mr. Corrupts. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Are you sure this is our 4th? I feel like this is more than that.
We did a Spurs prediction for the bubble, NBA free agency prediction with Trop, and then the Ravens-Eagles video. And now,
that is correct.
This is our 4th time. So, if you guys, hang around the sports community and you know Corrupt, as a Spurs fan, he is one of the biggest Donovan Mitchell fans. And Zach LaVine's one of my top 5 players. And I think that LaVine's better than Mitchell, and he thinks the opposite. So today we're going to have some fun with that debate. So, Corrupt, I'll start with you. Why do you think that Donovan Mitchell is a better player than Zach LaVine?
Okay, well, I know that the team around them affects their entire, just how they play, but one of the biggest reasons why I think Donovan Mitchell is better than Zach LaVine is that he's just his consistency, right? Since his rookie season, first off, he's made the playoffs every single time, right? And second off, he's always been the entire offense, right? Or the leading scorer for the Jazz, right? He averages 20 points per game his entire career. He's never had a season where it's been under 20 points.
Right.
And if you look at it, right, before they got all these good shooters like Donovan, Mike Conley, and Jordan Clarkson, he only had like Rudy Gobert and Joe Ingles, and he was still consistently making the playoffs and still doing good in the playoffs. Right? Okay. That's why I think that he's better than Zach LaVine, right? Zach LaVine, yes, had a bad team, but I think that, 20 points per game, right, and made the playoffs even with not such a good surrounding cast.
Right.
So it's like, at a certain point, you just got to be like, okay, Donovan Mitchell's very fucking good, right?
Yes. Yeah, and I see what you're saying, but the reason why I think Zach LaVine, first off, I think when it comes to pure basketball talent, I think Zach LaVine wins there. I mean, his athletic ability is through the roof, one of the most athletic players ever. And that's not exaggerating, because when you look at him, he's a 2-time dunk contest champion. He's done a lot of athletic games, a lot of things in and outside of all-star games and regular NBA games. So I think the pure talent, obviously Zach LaVine's jump shot has improved majorly throughout his career. I think when it comes to talent, that Zach LaVine is definitely going to take that side of it. But you do make a good point, with Donovan Mitchell always making the playoffs, always being a 20-point per game scorer. But one thing that I like to point out, and I know you kind of get annoyed when we use this, but Donovan Mitchell, he's just super inefficient. He'll have games where he shoots 15 for 20, 15 for 20, 15 for 20, and then 5 for 20. It's just like, dude, I want to see Donovan Mitchell, sometimes, and I know he's the only big scoring threat on his team because, obviously you got guys like Mike Conley, but, he is the number 1 option on the team. Obviously he's going to take that many shots, but his consistency of making those shots is up and down throughout the years. And, the 3-point percentage, I think they're both very great 3-point shooters, but the stats say that, Zach LaVine has a 3% advantage as far as the 3-point department. Like I said, they're both really good 3-point shooters, but I just think, man, when it comes to the talent and when it comes to the consistency of shooting, Zach LaVine's better. And I believe if Zach LaVine had a guy like Rudy Gobert around him, like Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, all those guys, I think Zach LaVine would make the playoffs as well and would be doing as good as Donovan Mitchell is doing in the Utah Jazz system. And like I said, I hate to, slam Donovan Mitchell for just being an inconsistent shooter, but it's just how it is. That's like, you don't want your guy going 5 for 20 from the field. And I get it. Like I said, he's the only big scoring threat on his team. But it's just I don't like the inconsistency in the shooting department. I think that's my biggest thing when I criticize Donovan Mitchell and his game.
So I wouldn't say he's the biggest. No, he is the biggest. But I wouldn't say he's the only big scoring threat on this team because I've seen Bojan Bogdanovic drop 20, 30 a bunch of games, right?
Right. Yeah.
Bojan Bogdanovic is a big threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we get a little bit more of the stats side of things, right?
Yeah.
Zach LaVine, I feel like, right, and not Zach LaVine. Sorry, Donovan Mitchell. I feel like does more for his team, and it's kind of like, okay, what do you mean? Zach LaVine's literally the best player. Actually, probably for the past couple seasons, the only good player on that team, right? Well, you have Thaddeus Young,
Kobe White,
guys, right?
Inconsistent guys, yes.
Yeah. And then none of them compare to the guys that Donovan Mitchell has this season.
Yes.
But you also, if you look at it, rebounds, right, and assists, Donovan Mitchell, career-wise, has more per game than Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And to be honest with you, I think in the assistant department that he's just Donovan Mitchell is easily just a better facilitator, right?
Yeah.
I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't know the exact stat, like the exact number, but I know for a fact Donovan Mitchell is responsible for a lot of the points for the Utah Jazz.
Well,
right?
this year he's averaging 25 points and 5.5 assists. So, you know,
which is really good.
That's just really good, and a lot of those assists are passing out to guys on 3-pointers because of a lot of attention on him. So I will give you that. He is a better floor facilitator in the assist department.
So you said that that you brought up the point that Zach LaVine doesn't have a defensive of the year guy, doesn't have Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley and all these guys, right?
Yeah.
But my point is that Donovan Mitchell has not only been doing this since he's been a rookie, going to the playoffs to the Jazz, but he's been doing this without Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Mike Conley, right? He still had Joe Ingles and still had Rudy Gobert, but his team was not as good as it is now, right? And even now, if you're looking at that team, you're not thinking, oh, this is a number one seed in the East. You're still thinking Clippers, Nuggets, and
Lakers.
Right? You're still thinking those. You're still thinking those teams are the top teams in the West, and a big reason why they are the top team in the West this year by like 3 games is Donovan Mitchell, right? Of course, you know it's team basketball, but Donovan Mitchell is leading the team in scoring, and I believe he's I think 1 or 2 in assists for the entire Jazz team. Right? It's really damn impressive.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's all true. And another thing about the assists, and it looks like Donovan Mitchell is better at assists, but Zach LaVine is not a bad passer. And if the people around him would knock down shots more, he'd probably be averaging more assists per game. But since he has guys like Kobe White who can't hit his shots consistently, guys like before the trade, Wendell Carter, who would get nice passes but wasn't aggressive or was too small, would get his shot blocked a lot. The guys around him aren't hitting their shots consistently to help him out. So where Donovan Mitchell, even without Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, and Bogdanovic, he still had Joe Ingles hitting shots for him. And he still had Rudy Gobert catching and finishing lobs. So where Zach LaVine, he has Wendell Carter, who is undersized center. Like I said, this is before the trade. And he has Kobe White, who can't stay consistent to save his life. Lauri Markkanen can barely stay healthy and on the court. Where Donovan Mitchell's players, Bogdanovic had 1 injury, but other than that, all their players have been fairly healthy. Mike Conley, he's been fairly healthy. Joe Ingles has been healthy. Rudy Gobert, I don't remember the last time Rudy Gobert missed a game. Rudy Gobert's always playing. He's always there. So Zach LaVine, he has to deal with inconsistency, and his quote-unquote second-best player before the trade, Lauri Markkanen, was always injured. And I think if he was more fortunate with a better team around him, I just think he would make the playoffs. But the last thing I want to bring up is the rebounding and, like I said, defensively. The rebounding, I think both of them are really good rebounders. Now, Donovan Mitchell can't show his rebounding because Rudy Gobert is just standing there waiting. But Zach LaVine has to do it all, not do it all, but do a lot defensively and get the rebound because Wendell Carter couldn't rebound. Thaddeus Young was undersized when they had him at center. Guys, things like that. So rebounding, it's just Zach LaVine has to do more. He has to defend his guy, contest a shot, and then probably go chase down a rebound because they have an undersized center in there. Now, hopefully the Vucevic trade will help that.
So, bring up rebounding, and Zach LaVine this season does average more rebounds, but by only 0.5. So even with Rudy Gobert, he's still getting 4.5 rebounds per game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are correct about the Zach LaVine supporting cast, right? He's had a terrible supporting cast, I think, his entire life, besides what
Karl-Anthony Towns.
Yeah. But I guess what concerns me and what hesitates me from giving it to Zach LaVine is, first off, his turnovers is insane. He has damn near 4 turnovers per game, which is right now it's 3.8 this season, right? And I mean, in the past it's been 3.4, 3.4 the past two, the season before that, and the third season, 3 seasons ago. And it's also about playoff experience, because in the playoffs, Donovan Mitchell was dropping damn near 40 every single game last year in the bubble. You know what I mean? And he's always come up. He's been actually, in fact, before this season, right? Before the bubble, Rudy Gobert in the bubble, in the playoffs, were not good, dude. He used to just not show up at all, even defensively, because Rudy Gobert kind of got exposed, right? During the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell had to do it all, and he's always been there during the playoffs. Now, at the same time, I've never seen Zach LaVine in the playoffs, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I know for damn sure that, okay, Donovan Mitchell, he's making the playoffs, right? He's doing it in a better conference. And this guy is a better facilitator than Zach LaVine. He's the main facilitator of this team, and he has been doing this consistently, more consistently than Zach LaVine has past 4 years.
Okay, so you were bringing up the turnovers, and you brought up the playoff experience and stuff, and those two things are concerning, and I can see why they're concerning, because you said he's averaging about 3 turnovers the last few years, and that is concerning. But as far as the playoff experience, I mean, like I said, man, I hate to just, keep going at one thing, but I feel like a lot of this conversation that we're having is based off of if Zach LaVine had better teams around him to have the playoff experience. Because, yes, Donovan Mitchell has had crazy games in the playoffs. The Jamal Murray versus Donovan Mitchell series was just last year, and we've seen what Donovan Mitchell could do. And if Mike Conley hit the shot, they're moving to the second round. But I feel the same exact way about Zach LaVine. You put that Jazz team around him, they're still in the playoffs that season. Zach LaVine I believe he can still do good numbers in the postseason, but I have nothing to prove that because he hasn't had the chance to play in the playoff game. And it just sucks because he hasn't had good players around him. But I still think, man, you get a good team around him, I think he's gonna show and prove why he might be the better player over Donovan Mitchell. All right. Well, before we close this out, do you have anything else you want to add to this conversation?
So I want to make a counter argument for the efficiency problem that Donovan Mitchell has. So I feel like efficiency can sometimes be an overused, or overrated stat sometimes, right? Because even when somebody's like 7 for 20, right, which we can both agree is not that good, but they still scored like 30 points, right, which includes free throws. I feel like people he's 7 for 20, even he had 30 points, but he was 7 for 20. Yeah, he's trash. You know what I mean? I feel like people overuse that argument. Oh, he was 7 for 20, bro. He's not a good shooter at all. Like, dude, I mean, we both watched Donovan Mitchell. We can both say that he's a good shooter. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even like Donovan Mitchell is a horrible efficiency guy. He averages .439. So let's just say he averages 44% per year.
From the
year, right?
field. Mm-hmm.
That's not bad at all. I'm pretty sure the average is like 45%, right? So it's not horrible efficiency. It's not like he's a 40% field goal percentage like Trae Young or somebody like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes efficiency can be overused and overrated, right?
Okay.
Unlike the turnovers sometimes turnovers can be also like, oh, he had 4 turnovers, he's trash, right? Sometimes that can happen too. But with the Bulls, if you look at the team as a whole, turnovers has been the problem, right? Like,
yes.
They have the most turnovers per game this year, and it's horrible. It's like honest to God bad, right?
Yes.
If you sat down and watch a Bulls game, you see turnover, and Zach LaVine has 3.8, damn near 4 turnovers per game this year. That is not good, and that is affecting how your team wins, right? While Donovan Mitchell, yes, sometimes he's inefficient and doesn't have those great shooting nights, but he's still getting those free throws, and he's still facilitating right. He's still facilitating very good, right? So I feel like the turnovers kind of weigh a lot on the game, while Donovan Mitchell doesn't do as many turnovers as Zach LaVine does, which is also another reason why I will take Donovan Mitchell over Zach LaVine.
Okay. Well, like I said, the turnovers, that is a problem that I think that Zach LaVine has. And I think turnovers and efficiency, I think both of those problems are the biggest issues with these two players. But, hey, man, I think we're going to close that out there. Now, I'm going to leave it to the comment section. And everyone who watches this video, you decide who you think is the better player or who you think...
Donovan Mitchell.
Nah, it's going to be Zach LaVine. Especially Josh. You watching this... Make sure you put Zach LaVine if you're watching this. Josh, Benji, and JB. I know you support both guys. Hey, bro, I don't know who you're going with, but I'm going to leave it to the comment section to figure out who they think is the better overall player. I think we touched on all the big issues and the big promising things that both players do. But before we close this out, Corrupt, anything you want to shout out? Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Go for it.
So my Twitter is... Corrupt Ravens. I tweet basically anything from food to music to of course football and basketball, right? And yeah, that's about it.
All right. Well, make sure you go follow that. Make sure you guys, like I said, comment down below. Hit the like button. I think this was a good video, so I think you guys will like it. So hit that like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Also, one announcement, by the time this uploaded, the Bencast is back. So if you want to watch a podcast with me and 2 other friends where we have debates over there, make sure you guys hit the link down below. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.